Let's see what happens on the final lap of the race. Here comes the field down for the white flag. 1 more to go. Rudd is inside of Dale Earnhardt as they go into turn number 1, and both of them spin.
And Jeff Bodine takes the lead.
Earnhardt spins along with Ricky Rudd. Here comes Jeff Bodine, who'll come down and win the Holly Farms 400. Bodine wins.
And I just told all of them to be cool, you know. We just can't afford no trouble now. We give it our best shot. That's the way it goes.
Now they're looking up pit road now. The crews are going up pit road. Everybody's headed up pit road right now. Both the Childress crew is on its way up pit road, and also the Quaker State crew on the way up pit road. Well, Richard, you had quite a view of that thing. What do you see happen?
They was just racing hard. They was just racing hard. I couldn't tell. Ricky got into Dale. You know, hell, I don't know. Y'all seen it too.
What were you telling your driver? You were just talking to Dale. What were you telling him, and what was he telling you?
And I just told all of them to be cool, you know. We just can't afford no trouble now. We give it our best shot. That's the way it goes.
Now they're looking up pit road now. The crews are going up pit road. Everybody's headed up pit road right now. Both the Childress crew is on its way up pit road, and also the Quaker State crew on the way up pit road.
Dale and I got together. His handling went away after that last restart, and I got on the inside of him. And I felt like he came down on me. I don't know. All I know is we got together. You know, I hated that happening. We were going to have a good run for the victory there.
You guys had a conversation after this was all over. What was said?
I think we're discussing the weather. I believe that tell them it was a pretty warm day out there today.
Ricky Rudd with a good run, but it didn't end in victory lane for him here this afternoon. Everybody's caught, and the weather is very nice indeed.
And here's a replay now of the action that occurred when the two came into the pits. That's Chocolate Myers, who is having a discussion with some of the members of the Ricky Rudd team. There's Larry McReynolds holding back one of the other members, and here comes the NASCAR official to say, okay, guys, cool it. The race is over, and there's no sense crying over spilled milk.
How will this affect your championship view from here on? You get 3 more to go.
What do you think? They ought to find it something. Let make him sit out the rest of the year.
Bob, surprise. A Ford, Davey, Allison, win of a road course. Is this the checker or the white flag? I've lost track.
And coming up on the white flag, Benny. Here they are.
Rudd is there.
11. Oh, and Davey Allison is spun. Ricky Rudd now has the lead. All kinds of contact here in the last few laps. And the white flag flies for Ricky Rudd. Now entering turn number 11. And Ricky Rudd is apparently going to receive the checkered flag and the win of the Banquet Frozen Foods 300. Here he comes, waving to the pit crew as he passes by. The black flag is shown to Ricky Rudd. Rudd is shown the black flag. Davey Allison is shown the checkered flag.
They did not give the win to Ricky Rudd, Bob?
No, they gave the black flag to Ricky Rudd as he came down and passed under the start-finish line. They waved the checkered flag to Davey Allison, and he apparently is going to win.
I don't understand this. You know, I've been racing since '63, and this is about one of the darndest calls I've seen made in a long time. You know, they've told us in driver's meeting, the last lap you're on your own. But Ricky was not driving dirty. He touched him, sure, but they're in a hairpin turn, and I could have pushed the 28 car around with my hand. But, I mean, it would have been reversed. It wouldn't have made no difference. And, you know, these guys are out here trying to win the race, and it comes down to the last lap, and you know, you got to be able to race. And if they're going to take this away from us, this is totally wrong. I've seen it happen time and time again through the years, and they've never taken a race from no one yet doing this. If they do this, this is rotten.
Obviously, Waddell Wilson very upset. Let's check in with John Kernan.
I'm standing by with Davey's crew chief, Larry McReynolds, and still a bit of confusion. They gave the black flag to Ricky, gave the checkered flag to you guys, but you haven't gotten any official word yet.
I don't see how it could be no confusion. You know, I worked with Ricky Rudd for 2 years, and that ain't Ricky Rudd's style. If they let him get by with that, you know, then I ain't got a whole lot to say about NASCAR's procedures. A 28-car Texaco Haviland Ford won the race, and that's the way it is.
Well, that's the view from here. Larry and his crew are heading down towards victory lane for now.
And they're not happy at all. After dominating the month of May in Charlotte, Davey, congratulations on your first road course win.
Thanks, Jerry. You know, I just can't say enough about Larry McReynolds and all these guys on this crew, Robert Yates and all the guys in the engine shop, just give me everything I need. And I'll tell you, we just went out there and we drove our guts out today, and You know, it was a shame what happened right there on the next to last lap down here in turn 11, but it was, the justification came out in the end. And we're tickled to death to be here in Victory Lane for a second time this season. We're going to get some more.
Now, what happened down there? You and Ricky racing with 2 laps to go.
Well, I drove into turn 11, and next thing I know, somebody just plowed in the back of me and turned me around. And I just stuck it in first gear and took off and kept going, and they came back and they said, you know, they said they were going to penalize me for stop and go because it was obviously deliberate.
Okay, now he didn't have a stop and go. He came on around and took the flag, but they didn't give him the checkered flag. Did you know that you were going to win the race?
Well, I knew that if he pitted for a stop and go that he couldn't win it anyways, and we had it then. All I had to do was just not spin out the rest of the way around the racetrack.
You know, it was an accident. I got into Davey. It was my fault, yeah. He was a lead car and I got into him. But I didn't get a black flag until a white flag lap. And it's, I don't know, I just fed up with this mess.
Watch the tailpipe on the left side. It looked like as he was coming down through here.
They're accelerating here.
Coming up through the gears. A little bit of puff right there.
There was a little puff.
And see Rusty jump on the brakes. It looked like something, the 27 car stumbled a minute. And Rusty tried to miss him and hit the rear. Shot the 27 out in Earnhardt and then in the Rudd too. But that 27 stumbled a little bit on that start. It's what really stacked him up.
Now the carburetor could have been loaded up and make that little puff of smoke. Whatever it was, though, he did fail to go up to speed.
Ricky, any comment on that? Well, they got the Goodies Headache Award. They ought to have the Rubber Head of the Race Award, and I give it to Rusty Wallace. That's my vote. I don't know about the rest of these guys that sitting here tore up in the garage, but that was just a dumb, stupid move. I mean, you know, I don't know where he was going. You know, you just got to wait your time. The track's greasy. Everybody pretty much was biding their time, and that dumb SOB comes up through there like an idiot and causes a chain reaction. Ricky, one of your best race cars this year you had, too. Nice and smooth ride you were having. Well, I just hate to see it get wasted. You know, a lot of guys work awful hard at that.
You know, in fairness to everybody involved, what Ricky saw was the obvious thing you would see, and it might have been the first thing you saw at home, that Rusty ran into the back of Hut Strickland. But as we say many times, there's always several points of what happened in the story.
The 10 car is still up in the top. This is where it began, up in 4.
They just touched ever so slightly with Jeff on the inside.
Now they're coming down the main straightaway.
Little 180 mile an hour bumper tag. Jeff's car stays pretty straight, but finally it just loses control, breaks traction, and around it goes. Yeah,
Just
Ricky
catches
tries
the
to,
10.
Ricky tries to slide by on the inside, gets collected too.
Things got a little close there, Ricky. Only 10, 15 laps to go. Shame you couldn't get there to the end. Yeah, it'd been nice to finish the race. You know, Jeff was coming on. He's trying to get by me, tried 2 or 3 laps, and finally when he got by me, he run me up in the fence, crowded me pretty hard. We raced down the front straightaway, bumped a little bit, but I guess Jeff got a little loose in the side and turned sideways in the tri-oval and came back across and got into both of us. With that many laps under their belts, the cars get hot and the tires get hot and the drivers get a little hot and get a little tired, and get that close to the end, things get a little confusing.
Yeah, I think things got a little hot.
And a little confusing.
Yeah. Thanks, Rick. Let's go back to Ricky Craven.
Not how I wanted to be talking to Jeff Gordon, or at least not what I wanted to be talking to him about, but Jeff, tell us what happened there at the end.
Well, you know, we found ourselves in a pretty good position here at the end of Charlotte, like we have in the past, and I knew I was racing Ricky, and my car started coming on, and you know, I was trying to get inside him. I'd go to the outside, he'd run up high and block me. I'd try to go low, he'd run down, you know, so I finally got up underneath him, and I had to kind of work my way up. Plus, I was loose, and I kind of worked my way up in front of him. I guess he didn't like that, so he decided he was going to wreck us both. So he drove right in the back of me all the way down the front straightaway.
Oh, Wallace is down. Rusty Wallace bumps onto that high lane. Ricky Rudd goes to the lead. Here comes Harvick underneath.
Ricky's got something hanging off the, looks like the rear of the car there.
Wallace is back in 4th.
I think that's where Harvick made contact with the back bumper of the 28 car. See that hanging right there? Little piece of metal. This is by far the best his car has been all night. And he's turned Ricky Rudd sideways up. And how did Rudd save that car?
That is a save right there. Man. Here comes Dale Jr. on Rudd for second as Harvick takes the lead. Short track wildness has set in the late laps in Richmond.
Ricky Rudd was quicker than that lap than Kevin Harvick.
We've seen Harvick slip. We've seen Rudd slip. We've seen Wallace slip. He got the bumper. Here comes Rudd. Oh, man. The bump and run. Rudd goes back to the lead with 5 to go. Use the old bump and run on him with 5 laps to go. And it's going to be a big night in the championship for Ricky Rudd. Checkered flag is up. Rudd wins the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 at Richmond. Is that a clenched fist being shown there?
We got a lot to talk about. Congratulations, a big win for you here in Virginia. Early birthday present for you.
Yeah, it really is. I tell you, it was, you know, Texaco, Haviland, Ford, Fatback, McSwain, all these guys, Raymond, Fox, guys, Hoyt over, all these guys that work hard on this thing every week. We had a heck of a race car today, and looked like we weren't going to win it. Had somebody kind of rough us up a little bit, and looked like we weren't going to get back to the front in time. As it turns out, I was lucky I saved it. It was just a pure miracle. And gave us a chance to come back and win the race.
Well, let's review some things. Your pass of Rusty Wallace.
You know what? Rusty broke loose. It looked like I hit him. Rusty was real bad on that restart. I'm not really sure. He was holding the pack up. And, I mean, we were running inches off each other. But honestly can say, and I think Rusty will tell you, I didn't touch him. He was just trying to put the hammer down really hard. He knew he couldn't lift. He broke loose and didn't get it back, you know.
How about you in the 29, Ricky?
Well, that was, you know, that was just a friendly little short track bump and run there. You know, he sort of gave me a cheap shot, I thought, early on. He kept jacking me up in the straightaway, and I don't like that a whole lot. If you're gonna, you know, hit somebody, move on, go on, but don't just sit there and ride their bumper. But you know, it all worked out. You know, he wasn't. I was a little mad at the time, but we came back and won, so I kind of cooled off a little bit, and you know, I didn't know what to expect on the cool down lap, and actually come up and congratulated me, so it was pretty neat.
First off, how hard did you hit the 28? Well, we aired our tires up there at the end to give ourselves a chance at the get-go, and it was scooting the tires pretty bad, and I just kind of misjudged and hit him a little bit harder than I wasn't planning on hitting him at all, but I just got into him a little bit, and he saved it. And when you get into somebody that late in the race on a short track, you got to expect a little bit in return. And you knew it was coming. I knew it was coming, and you know, our car had fallen off a little bit, and his car was pretty good. So I was the first one over to congratulate him. He did what he had to do to win the race, and it's great when you can race with people. And I'm just glad I didn't take him out because I didn't mean to do it.
Last lap, change of position. Ricky Rudd gets by Rusty Wallace, and Rusty's obviously not happy at the tactics.
And Dale Jarrett spins down in the corner.
Tempers.
Right to the very end.
Some hot tempers after the race with you and Ricky Rudd. What happened at the end of the race?
I just got racing order in turn 3. I got a little bumper in the behind and lost a position. That's about it. Just a Bristol racing.
A little retaliation?
No, I just couldn't get stopped.
And Rusty Wallace, very kind with his words, very politically correct. Come on with a 5th place finish, and he is on his way to the Winston Cup truck for a talking to Dave Burns.
After a couple of races where Ricky did not finish well at all, a good rebound tonight. Tell us about the, well, some are calling an incident on the last lap with Rusty.
Well, I'm not really sure. Evidently, Rusty's brakes went out about 3 or 4 laps ago. I was able to catch him, got into him a little bit, and I guess when the race was over, his brakes really didn't work. So they're paid to favor, I guess.
Did Rusty hit him?
Yeah, Rusty got into
I believe
the
Rusty
back
got
of
in the
him.
Wow. Remember Bristol?
You obviously had the best car there at the end of the race. What happened with you and Rusty Wallace?
Well, Rusty, I don't know what was wrong with him. He was off the pace. Something was wrong with him. I guess he needed a caution. I was laughing him, and I guess he needed a caution and decided to wreck the leader. I've never seen nothing like it. I know he's got the nickname Rubberhead in the garage area. Now, I never understood it, but I understand it now.
Some very strong words between you two. What was said in the garage area?
Well, it was just a sort of a one-on-one discussion, and we didn't discuss too much. It's too big of a crowd around, so we'll discuss it later.
I know it's difficult to have perspective, but this was a great run for your team, Ricky.
Well, it really was. You know, I mean, Little E, he was definitely very, very fast all race, and then he faded there for a long stretch, and he was a fast guy at the end. Like I said, when we spun, we did something to the car. I don't know if I banged the fender up or something. It's just a shame you got to deal with nonsense like this. You know, I used to have a lot of respect for that guy. I wouldn't give him 2 cents right now.
Can you describe the disappointment?
It's just kind of hard to put it in words. I guess the only thing keeps me going. I think about what's going on here, and I look at the world's problems. This isn't too bad.
All right, they finished top 5 today, but somehow doesn't feel like a top 5, Matt.
And Marty, the other member of that duo is Rusty Wallace. And Rusty, first off, what's your take on the incident between yourself and Ricky Rudd?
Oh, my take on the incident, he was getting ready to lap me, and as he lapped me, he run into me in the back straightaway. And as I went down the corner, I just stood in the throttle, tried to pass him on the outside. He slowed up a little bit. I got the tail end of him. That's my story.
A lot of speculation, possibly a payback for the post-race incident at Bristol?
No, that wasn't payback. We're going too fast to do stuff like that, but he's got a quit. His memory's pretty short. He rammed the crap out of me at Bristol, you know, and now he forgets about it. You know, I named the guy a Conehead a long time ago. I think I'm going to name that dude that.
Harvick is driving that car in hard, trying to get to the bumper of the 12 car, but he pays for it. Getting loose, and crashed. Oh, no. Back down into traffic. Look out. Wow. Kenny Wallace taking the high side, and the caution flag is out. Kevin Harvick's not going to finish second tonight. Did he get into him? That's what I want to see here. Yep, he sure did. Yep. And boy, we talk about this all the time, Benny. When you get hit going into a corner, you don't save that race car.
Nothing you can do. Here we go.
Oh, yep. Angry drivers, we've got some tonight. We got Robbie Gordon looking for somebody. That would be Jeff Burton. Yep. Ricky Rudd looking, Kevin Harvick looking for Ricky Rudd. Yep. And he knows that Ricky Rudd has come to the top 5 impound area on pit road. Did you hear that? Let's be smart. That's where he's coming to find him. And so what happens in these situations is we get pit crews involved. Harvick's pit crew coming in to intervene. And an army of Winston Cup officials. And Kevin will go for a visit to the big red truck.
You know, and those good wrench guys, they were there to protect Kevin from himself.
Yeah.
I mean, they were not, that's the only reason they were there.
They weren't there after Ricky Rudd.
No,
they were there to,
yeah. Exactly.
These guys are going, hey, get off our car, man. NASCAR officials telling Kevin to get off the car, get the crewman off the car. Kevin going to have his say. Well, here we go. He walked across the top of the 21, and now it's on.
I'll tell you what, that big official, Big Andy, Big Andy's, think about going by Andy. There's Todd Berry, the crew chief. Matt!
Yeah. Benny, we've got Todd Berry trying to hold back Kevin. Very frustrating night, Kevin. Yeah, I tell you what, Jim Goodwin's car was good tonight. Ricky Rudd took a goddamn cheap shot at us. And if he's going to, take a cheap shot, he's going to get one back. I promise you that.
And it's off to the big red truck.
There's Pat Tryson, the crew chief for Rudd. Marty?
And Ricky being pinned to the car right now by Pat Tryson, his crew chief. Ricky, what was the contact with Kevin about?
I don't know. Kevin had trouble on the restart. He couldn't get going or something. Anyway, went down turn 1. I guess he just put on the brakes a little harder than he had been, and I got in the back of him. I mean, my fault, but it wasn't on purpose. It was an accident. This stuff here is just absolutely ridiculous that NASCAR will put up with this. This is our car that's going next week to the race. Look at the hood. Look at the damage. I mean, that's totally ridiculous after the race stuff like that.
What did he say to you when he climbed out of the car?
I couldn't hear him. He's, got that little yap mouth. I couldn't tell what he was saying.